Gara Dasa karuna kori Diapanachai Shodo he amai Tomara charana dori Chaya bhega domi Chaya dosha shodhi Chaya guna deho dase Chaya satsanga Deho he amare Boshachi sangerashe Ekaki amar Nahi par bhalo Hari nama sankirtane Tumi kripa kori Shraddha bindu dhiya Deho Krishna nama dhane Krishna se tomar Krishna dite paro tomara shakati ache Amito kanga Krishna Krishna boli dai tava pache pache O hey Vaishnava Thakur Doyara Sagara Dasa karuna kori Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jaya Prabhupada. Ujjvala Varana Gaura Vara Deham Vilasita Niravade Bhava Videham Tribhuvana Pavana Krupaya Lesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Gadgadantara bhava vikaram Durjana tarjana nada vishalam Bhava bhaya bhajana karuna karunam Tantanamami cha Shri Sachitanayam Aranam Bharakara Charukapolam Induvanindita Nakachaya Ruchiram Jalpitani Jaguna Nama Vinodam Tangranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Vigalitanayana Kamala Jalagaram Ushana Navarasa Bhava Vikaram Gati Ati Mantara Nitya Vilasam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Chanchala Charu Charana Gati Ruchiram Manjira Ranjita Pada Juga Madhuram Chandra Venindita Shitala Varanam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai Chitta Kati Dora Kamandalu Dandam Divya Kalevara Mundita Mundam Durjana Kalmashan Kandana Dandam Tampanamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Bhushana Bhuraja Alakavalitam Kampita Vimdara Vara Rushiram Malaya Javira Chitta Ujjala Tilakam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Ninditarina Kamala Dalanayanam Ajadulam Dita Shri Vijayugalam Levara Kaishora Nartaka Vesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Ujjala Bharana Kodambara Deha Nilasita Niravani Bhava Dehan Pavana Kripaya Vesham Jai Sachidananda Jai Gaura Hari. Jai Sachidananda Jai Sachidananda Jai Sachidananda Jai Gaura Hari. Udila Aruna. Udila Aruna. Ooh, all together. Udila Aruna. Kamani Gauramani Jade Bhakata Samma Loya Sate Gela Nagarada Tadai Tadai Bhajalako Gana Gana Tahe Jageraro Privethalada Sonaranga Shanani Lura Aje Mukunda Madhava Yarava Hari Bole na bolo Revana Boli Niche Mida Bashe Gelo Re Rati Jivasa Sharirasa Emana Dulaba Manavateho Payaki Panakeho Elena Bajile Yashoda Sutta Chana Mekori Belade Udita Tapana Hoileyasa Dinavayo Hoede Yasta Tabeke Oede Alasaho Navajani Noya Jivana Anitya Dhanamasa Kahena Navira Viparama Namashaya Kori Jatane Tumi Takarathanakaje Kalyana Saranaka Jagate Madhurana Avidyatira Tapana Rupe Prikatani Viraje Krishna Nam Sudha Koriyapa Jova Kagiru Namlina Kishuna Hikore Joda Bhuvanama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Well, Premanande, if you could put up the translation for this bhajan. And then you have to find a corresponding verse for each one of these. You ready? Okay, 2 people are ready. Everybody else, cover your ears and just zone out. When a tinge of red on the eastern horizon heralded the sunrise, the jewel of the twice-born Lord Gaurasundara immediately awakened. Taking his devotees with him, he went all over the countryside, visiting the towns and villages of Nadia. Okay, give a couple of Shastric references that nicely match up with this. Go. I'm thinking, starting with the Adi Lila. Yes. Where's all the microphones in the world?
I was thinking of Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda.
Sing it nicely.
Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godode Pushpavanto Chitrashando Tamo.
How nicely was that? It was like a 3 out of 10. Like, be more like heartfelt.
Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Why don't you sing that other tune? That's more heartfelt. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudadai Pushpavanto Chitrashando Tamoda. Expound.
The verse mentions how Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda arise like the sun and moon in the land of Gaudiya. So, in the land of Gauda, and this talks about how the tinge of red on the eastern horizon heralded the sunrise. So sunrise is a common theme amongst two verses.
Okay, pretty good. Let's have one more. Chop, chop. No, I'm saying chop, chop. Let's go. There's the other one. More poetical. This is sunrise. This is, this is the heralding of something wonderful coming in. God's coming, but in a form to save us all. Yes. Where's all the microphones? Okay.
I was reminded of the verse from Bhagavatam which says, Krishna Swadham Upagate Dharma Prana Divisa Kali Kalunashtritam Resha Puranar Kodhanodita. So this verse of Bhagavatam.
Sing it again, but kind of nicely.
Krishna Swadham Upagate Dharma Glana Divisa Kalo Nashta Desha Puranar Kodhanodita. So in this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam is compared as the sun. So it says, as the darkness of Kali Yuga progresses, we have, after Krishna left, the son of Krishna rises again in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam.
And how does that make you feel?
Very nice.
What do you mean very nice? That's very nice is illegal. You can't use wonderful or very nice. You have to be more expressive.
So it gives us hope that many times devotees say that, we are not so fortunate because we could not take birth, or we didn't have the direct association of Krishna. So this verse gives us insight that we do have direct association of Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam are non-different, so we can take as much benefit of Krishna's presence by associating with Srimad Bhagavatam.
And what's your practical experience?
My practical experience is that Srimad Bhagavatam actually gives us a lot of guidance. Like throughout, usually all of us, I can say for myself that there are a lot of questions we have about our life, and Srimad Bhagavatam actually gives us a direction. Like Krishna speaks to us through Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have the full opportunity to take Krishna's guidance by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and also taking shelter of devotees who live their life according to Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam gives us access to Krishna in the form of the verses, and it also gives us access to Krishna in the form of devotees who follow it. So both the book Bhagavatam and the devotee Bhagavatam help us go forward in our spiritual life, from traversing the journey from faith to love of Godhead. So that's our only hope.
Okay, next one. Get ready. Are you ready? I'm not convinced. The mridangas resounded, tatai, tatai. Something. The cymbals chimed in time. That's your department, Madhuri Saki. And Lord Gauranga's footbells jingled as his golden form trembled slightly in ecstatic love of God. Shastra. Who's that? Oh, okay. Brajaras Bhavana.
I was thinking of the verse from Shuddha Bhakata, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that listening to the mridanga and playing it and being a part of the Kirtan is one of the processes of devotional service. The verse is Mridanga Padya Shunite Mana Abashara Sada Jache Gaura Bihita Kirtana Shuni Ananda Hridoy Nache.
And can you give us a personal experience?
I was just thinking about today where the arti started and the mridanga came in and we were singing bhajans about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I just felt like I wanted to be a part of it and dance.
That's nice. That's nice. Anybody else have another one? Yes. Shraddha Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, welcome back.
Thank you.
To see you. So I was going to quote from the Guru Ashtakam. Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasorasena Romancha Kampa Shrut Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. So it talks about how the kind of ecstasy that Mahaprabhu is expressing in this verse, the parallel of that is how the spiritual master also gets ecstatic when he is chanting the holy names of the Lord in the Kirtan of the Lord.
Thank you. Very nice. Okay, number 3. Lord Chaitanya called out to the townsfolk, "You spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouths with the vibration of the holy names, Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hari, chanting without offense." References, okay? Okay, 1, 2.
I was thinking of that bhajan, Nadiya Godru mein Nityananda Mahajan, Krishna bol, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran. So this kind of reminded me of that bhajan.
In what way?
And basically, like Mahaprabhu is saying here, I mean, the bhajan says here, fill your mouths with the vibration of the holy name. So we're supposed to remember Krishna and speak about Krishna and share Krishna with others.
That's nice. You brought out that point. Just fill your mouths with the vibration of the holy names. It's so practical, right? Very nice. And Shraddha, you had another one? There's tons on this one. Go ahead.
This one is from Srimad Bhagavatam. And here Lord Chaitanya is talking about wasting the time. And this verse also talks about Ayur Harati Vaipumsan Udyan Astancha Yan Asao Tasyate Yat Shanonita Uttam Shloka Vartaya. So it says with the rising and the setting of the sun, your life, duration of your lives get diminished unless you are engaged in the glorification of the Lord.
It has that similar quality of an admonition, doesn't it? This verse and that verse,
Correct.
Which is, come on, get with it. Wake up, you're wasting, your life is just going away, so do this thing. Gitavali.
I was thinking of the verse from the bhajan, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole.
Go ahead.
I was thinking of the verse from the bhajan, Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. And Lord Gauranga is calling out to all the townsfolk and he's saying, wake up, wake up.
Yeah, there is that element to Lord Chaitanya's advent, which is this kind of intervention, isn't it? It's like they're going around, whether you're sleeping or not, it's like, come on now, wake up. There's so many on this one. We're going to have to save some for the next ones because I'm getting information that I got to hurry up.
I don't know the source of this verse, but it's the verse is Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Japastapa apranasya dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. That Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, that if there's a body that is devoid of bhakti, that their jati, the birth that they have, jati, shastra, the knowledge of shastra, japa, whatever japa they do, and tapa, whatever austerity they do.
It's in the green book.
Apranasya dehasya, that apranasyeva dehasya, it's as if like, if there's a dead body, these are all just ornaments on that dead body that just are delighting the world. So basically, like in this we see Mahaprabhu saying that you're spending your nights uselessly sleeping and decorating your bodies. So it's like in this mood of without bhakti you can't actually be decorating your body.
Sadhu, sadhu. Nicely done. Okay, number 4. Sorry for everyone I'm leaving behind, but there's more to come. You have achieved the rare human body. Don't you do not care? Huh? Where's Shamalangi? She's in India? If you're listening, Shamalangi, you got to fix this. You have achieved the rare human body. Do you not care for this gift? If you do not serve the darling of Yashoda now, great sorrow awaits you at death. One verse, and then we have to go to number 5. This one's right on the tip of your brain. Go ahead. Yes, Shastra Sarprada.
Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahusambhavante manushyam arthadam anityam api hadhira. The human form of life comes extremely rarely, and the purpose of it is to attain the topmost artha, which Bhagavata propounds to be love of God, not liberation or anything else.
And finish the verse, because it's on the quiz.
Turnam yateta napathed anumrityu yavad Nishre, one second. Nishreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvatasya.
Which means?
That sense gratification is available in all other forms of life anyways. So the human form of life is there to attain the topmost shreya.
Yes, very good. Nicely done. And you have the reference from the Hitopadesh, is it?
It's also quoted in Madhya
Madhya Lila, we want to know the original source though. It's said in the Shloka book. Hari Bhakti Sudodaya. Okay, number 5. Each time the sun rises and sets, well, this was the verse you just gave us, Shada. Each time the sun rises and sets, a day passes and is lost. Then why do you remain idle and refuse to serve the Lord of the heart? Who's got one other than the one Shraddha gave us, which was obvious, hopefully. 5, 4, 3. You got to use the mic, or otherwise you get no credit.
I don't know the full verse, but it's where Mahaprabhu is saying, Siddhanta boliye na kari alash.
Siddhanta bolya chitana kara alash iha hoite Krishna lagi sudrid manosh. So relate it. How does it relate?
So it's talking about why do you remain idle? So here also it's saying.
So alash means to be lazy.
Lazy.
So it says, don't be lazy. Try to figure it out. Discuss those difficult topics that may seem controversial, so that you can come to a clear idea. And then Sudrid Manash means then your mind will be very fixed. I think that's a nice application. Number 6, understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and full of all kinds of miseries, so make it your only business to take shelter of the holy name and always engage in his service. Give us something from Queen Kunti or Prahlad Maharaj. 10 seconds. You can call a friend.
Vipadashantita shashvat tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadarshanam. And in this, Kunti Maharani is requesting more miseries so she can focus on remembering the Lord.
Well done, well done. Okay, next one, 7. Get ready. Desiring to bless all souls, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to the material world and now shines like the sun in the sky of the heart. I hope you already got it in your mind. Of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Go. Yes. Pargarangi.
It reminded of the verse, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hoy Adhikar, Jahan Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Adhikar. So this verse talks about the holy name, but Krishna is not different from the holy name. And that's how wherever there is the son of the holy name, there is also no ignorance.
Fantastic. Okay, last one. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna and thus satisfy the soul of Bhakti Vinod. There's nothing but the holy name within all the 14 worlds. 5, 4, 3, Madhuri Saki. And then Shastra Sar for the finish.
This verse is from Gai Gora Madhusvara, and in the 4th verse it says that your life may end at any moment, and you have not served the Lord of the senses, Rishikesh. Take this advice of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Just once relish the nectar of the holy name.
Here, play the drum, sing the last line. Jivana Oilo Shesh Shile Rishikesh Thakur Bhakti Vinodupadeshek Manam Rashe Matore Nam Gai Good. I like that. Quote Bhakti Vinod to support Bhakti Vinod. Okay, that's what we do here. And then for the close, we have Shastra Sarprada, who's going to give us another verse to corroborate, drink the pure nectar of the holy name.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Yada yada madhava yatra yatra gayanti ye tava nama lila tatraiva karna yutadharya manas taste sudha nityamaham dayani. Oh Madhava, whenever or wherever there's someone chanting your names or pastimes, may I be situated there with millions of years to constantly drink them.
Bravo, bravo. Okay. And now, because we're on an expedited schedule today, we're going to have Srimad Bhagavatam class. Now is Guru Puja? Now we're going to have Guru Puja. Could you put up the Guru Puja will start forthwith. Somebody please carry the harmonium over to here. Chaudiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keva Chaudiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keva Namashreshtam Manumapi Sachiputram Matra Sarupam Shirupam Tasyagrajam Uruparim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kunnam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Kratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi He Guru Gyanadadina Bando Swanandadata Kuranaita Siddho Vrindavana Sinayikadaka Vasigadada Pranaya Prachara Edina Bando Kuranaika Sindho Guru Prasadam Mai Mandamute Laksha Parade Bahupapagade Tatpada Padme Sumakishna Krishna Yadyapi Amar Guru Chaitanya Das Tathapi Janyani Tahara Prakash Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrera Pramane Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Marina Bhaktatane Shiksha Guru Keta Jani Krishnera Swarup Antaryami Bhakta Shrestha Eduyu Naivo payantya pachitim gavayastavesha Ramayushapi kridam riddam hudasmarantaha Yontar bahisthanuvratam ashubham vadunvan Acharya chaitya vapusha sakatim yanapti. Without serving the representative of Krishna, nobody can approach Krishna. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I've obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Shri Radhika and Madhava and Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I'm a dull fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet. Although I know that my spiritual master is a servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. Every living entity back is eternally a servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore the spiritual master cannot be other than a servant of Lord Chaitanya. The spiritual master's eternal occupation is to expand the service of the Lord by training disciples in a service attitude. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers his devotees. The relationship of the disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. Spiritual masters always represent themselves as the humblest servitors of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon the spiritual master as a manifested representation of Godhead. One should know the instructing spiritual master to be the personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as the super soul and the greatest devotee of the Lord. The initiating spiritual master is a personal manifestation of Srila Madan Mohan Vigraha, whereas the instructing spiritual master is a personal representative of Sri Govinda Dev Vigraha. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as a super soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by whom ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing in his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalabha Prahati Sadma. Bando Hui Sava Gada sare bhavatu vijaya. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoy te. Guru mukha padma vakya shitete ko giya aikya. Padma Bhavya Tete Koriya Aikya. Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarisasarine Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gadadhar Shivasadi Hare Krishna Jayo Mishnapad Paramahamsa Priraja Kacharya Stotara Shimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Priraja Kacharya Stotara Shimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Navadiptam Ki Jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Sambeta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. Gaur Premanande. Srimad Bhagavatam class. Starts in 30 seconds. Hare Krishna. Gati vitam vishunaditam. Tvam shadanamam nityam pavitam shasanam kuru. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Sarasatim Vyasam. Devim Sarasatim Vyasam. Tato Jayam Udiraye. Tato Jayam Udiraye. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, and we're on the chapter Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender, and will be for a little while. This is chapter 3. In this chapter, the prayers of Gajendra, which is the introduction, the king of the elephants are described. It appears that the king of the elephants was formerly a human being known as Indradyumna, and that he learned a prayer to the Supreme Lord. Fortunately, he remembered that prayer and began to chant it to himself. First, he offered his respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because of his awkward position in having been attacked by the crocodile, he expressed his inability to recite prayers nicely. Nonetheless, he tried to chant the mantra and expressed himself in appropriate words as follows. Quote, "The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes, the original person from whom everything has emanated. He is the root cause of the cosmic manifestation, and the entire cosmos rests in him. Yet he is transcendental, for he does everything in relation to the material world through his external energy. He is eternally situated in the spiritual world, in Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan, where he engages in his eternal pastimes. The material world is a product of his external energy or material nature, which works under his direction. It is thus that creation, maintenance, and annihilation take place. The Lord exists at all times. This is extremely difficult for a non-devotee to understand. Although the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead is perceivable by everyone, only the pure devotees perceive his presence and activities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely free from material birth, death, old age, and disease. Indeed, if anyone in this material world takes shelter of him, he also becomes situated in that transcendental position. For the satisfaction of the devotee, paritranaya sadhunam, the Lord appears and exhibits his activities. His appearance, disappearance, and other pastimes are not at all material. One who knows this secret can enter the kingdom of God. In the Lord, all opposing elements are adjusted. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart. He is the controller of everything. He is the witness of all activities, and he is the original source of all living entities. Indeed, all living entities are parts and parcels of him, for he is the origin of Mahavishnu, who is the source of the living entities within this material world. The Lord can observe the activities of our senses, which can work and achieve material results because of his mercy. Although he is the original source of everything, he is untouched by any of his byproducts. In this way, he is like a gold mine, which is the source of gold in ornaments, and yet is different from the ornaments themselves. The Lord is worshipped by the method prescribed in the Pancharatras. He is the source of our knowledge, and he can give us liberation. Therefore, it is our duty to understand him according to the instructions of devotees, in particular the spiritual master. Although for us, the mode of goodness is covered by following the instructions of saintly persons and the spiritual master, we can be freed from material clutches. The self-effulgent material form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is adored by non-devotees. His impersonal form is adored by those advanced in spiritual knowledge, and his feature as the localized supersoul is appreciated by yogis. But his original form as the person as a person is understood only by devotees. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is competent to dissipate the darkness of the conditioned soul through his instructions in Bhagavad Gita. He is the ocean of transcendental qualities and can be understood only by liberated persons freed from the bodily concept of life. By his causeless mercy, the Lord can rescue the conditioned soul from the material clutches, enable him to return home back to Godhead, to become his personal associate. Nonetheless, a pure devotee does not aspire to go back to Godhead. He is simply satisfied with executing his service in the material world. A pure devotee does not ask anything from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His only prayer is to be freed from the material conception of life and to be engaged in the Lord's transcendental living service. Unquote. In this way, the king of the elephants, Gajendra, offered prayers directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead without mistaking him for one of the demigods. None of the demigods came to see him, not even Brahma or Shiva. Rather, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, seated on Garuda, personally appeared before him. Gajendra, by lifting his trunk, offered obeisances to the Lord, and the Lord immediately pulled him from the water along with a crocodile who had captured his leg. Then the Lord killed the crocodile and thus rescued Gajendra. I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has brought to light the Srimad Bhagavatam for everyone in the world, to all the previous acharyas, and to all the assembled devotees. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindabhyevacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And now we just have a short class today because of other elements in our schedule. And therefore, please ask pinpointed, relevant questions related to the introduction you just heard that will elicit responses that will help to illuminate the meaning of this chapter. That means they better be good. O sages, yasa paragarangi.
It was mentioned how Gajendra was calling this Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he did not, Lord Brahma and Shiva did not come. Only like Krishna came in the form of Vishnu. But we also see in the 4th canto when I forgot the name of the sage, when he was
Atri
Rishi. When he was praying out for the Lord and he didn't know who was it, all of them came. So what is the difference between these two situations?
The main point is that we're, as conscious beings, we're very sensitive to what's going on. You may notice on a conference call, if somebody says one syllable on the call, amongst 200 people, you can tell who it was. If you've ever experienced that, the person just started to say something, someone else said something over them, but you understood who it was, who it started the other conversation, and you said, oh yeah, I know who that was. That was Bhakta such and such. Go ahead. And we can also, by the tone of the voice of a person, we can understand their feeling, because sound carries consciousness, and the ways in which we express ourselves come out in our voices. And then you have the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who Prabhupada mentions, can understand the psychic movements of the living entity. As the super soul within the heart, he's always observing. There are two birds in one tree, the tree being the human body, and then there's the soul who's minute and who's a servitor of the Lord, but who's externally focused. And then there's the super soul, who's always waiting for the attention of the individual soul. And how does one perceive sincerity when you hear somebody speak, or how does one ascertain who's in need of something, actually? When we were at Govardhan Hill during the festival time, Kartik, there are lots of people who ask for charity. It's part of the social security system in India. And there's a difference between the professionals and somebody who actually needs something. You can tell by their countenances, by their demeanor, by the sound of their voice, and how desperate they are. And we had a story from Krishna Saka. Prabhu, tell your story. This is a profound story. And I'll bring it back to related to your question.
Hare Krishna.
He'll hold that super close.
I was going on parikram on Govardhan, on Giriraj, around Giriraj Maharaj, and
you and Kamalakshi, right?
I, Kamalakshi, and Nikunj Nayak Prabhu.
Okay.
So we three were going, and we at Uddhav Kund, we reached Uddhav Kund, and there was one kid, was like 3 to 4 years old. He started following us, and he was asking us to give 5 rupees. So he was continuously, he started walking with us, and he was like, Hare Krishna, 5 rupees de do. Hare Krishna, 5 rupees de do. Until Radha Kund, that is like 3 kilometers, that is more than 30 to 45 minutes. He walked with us, and he was continuously, Hare Krishna, 5 rupees de do, Hare Krishna, 5 rupees de do. And in the middle, he was like, he forgot 5 rupees de do, and he was continuously, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I didn't want to give because of the scams going on around. So we asked him, would you like something like some from the store directly, some food or something? And he didn't want to take. He wanted 5 rupees only. And so we reached Radhakund, and then somebody else wanted to give him 5 rupees, but he didn't take. He wanted somehow, I don't know, he wanted from us only. And yeah, so yeah, at the end, and then in the middle, he got frustrated and he went back, and we were shocked. What happened? So we turned back, and he watched us turning back, and he came back again and started again following us. And then at the end, we gave up, and we gave him money.
A lot. Because you didn't have any small.
Yeah, I gave him 200 because I didn't have any small change.
We had discussed that, thank you, Krishna Saka, that there's an interaction that goes on between living beings, and we can tell over time by how they approach us, or how when we're approaching someone, what's in our heart, it comes out. So one of the main points there that in different sections of the Bhagavatam are Krishna is responsive. In fact, we may say the whole universe is responsive. Just the way our human bodies are designed, they're responsive to everything we do. The slightest change we have in our diet and our sleep and what we're listening to, and then there's a way that the body responds, the mind responds. The environment's like that also. It's designed to respond to the way we interact with it. And it's all coming from Krishna because he's responsive to everything that we do and very aware, so aware that he can understand from just one syllable what's going on. And so all these different instances have to do with the way, the point is the way we're approaching the Lord. We should be aware that whatever's coming back is coming because of us. Krishna is responding to us as our well-wisher. And therefore, it's our prerogative to tune the way that we approach Krishna. Become aware of how we're approaching Krishna and what we're actually asking for. And in the Bhagavatam, we get the sense from reading Bhagavatam that I would like to be in perfect resonance with Krishna, because as we know, when we're in resonance with Krishna as a servant and only asking as we heard, that I just want service, I don't want anything else, then we're perfectly tuned. When we want something else, even though we may even hide it from ourselves or ignore the fact that I'm asking for something other than that, and then we get it and we're not satisfied with it, then we may complain. I didn't want that. It's like, no, actually you did. Because Krishna's perfectly responsive. Nature is perfectly responsive. Whatever is happening in the world is happening because of people's level of consciousness, and it's responding to them, because the whole cosmic manifestation is a classroom to help us tune our consciousness perfectly in the mood of, Krishna, I only want to serve you. And so when people get different results, it's a mode of teaching that comes back like, oh, you asked for something else, be more careful. So the mood of Gajendra, it's very subtle as we read the story, and you can compare it to others and say, well, how come they got this? How come they got that? The overarching point is that whatever they got was exactly what they were asking for. Yeah. Yes, Malini.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Welcome back, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Prabhu, there is another follow-up on that. Recently, I was discussing with someone. They are new to Krishna consciousness, but they were worshipping demigods before. And they heard about Krishna from Bhagavatam. They heard about his merciful nature and everything. But they were saying, oh, I know, I heard so many things, but still I'm not able to give up my worship to the demigods, as if they were lamenting. So how do we encourage them, and what can we say to them, Prabhu?
You don't have to give up worship of demigods. That's not required. It's just a matter of how you're worshiping them. So the way practically you can worship demigods is you move them a little away from your altar so they're facing your altar. You can put as many demigods as you like. And then first you offer to Krishna, and then you offer, say if you have a image of Ganesh. And Ganesh is not going to want to sit on the same altar with Shishi Gornitai. So you just move him so he has a vantage point, so he can also be like this. Because yat pada pallava yugam vinayat daya kumbha dvanve pranama sameyesa ganadi raja vignam vihantum alamasya jagatrayasya govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. There's a way Brahma describes, this is the way Ganesh likes it. He wants to take the Lord's feet and put them on his head. Well, technically the tumuli, protruding from his elephant head, whatever that means. But the point is, he's holding the Lord's lotus feet on his head as sacred. So if you push him onto your altar at the same level of Gornitai, he's going to be very uncomfortable. And the same with all the demigods. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Lord Shiva, he wants to worship Krishna. It's there throughout the Bhagavatam and Shastras. He's the Vaishnav. He's a Vaishnav. Vaishnav doesn't want to sit immediately on the same level of Krishna or be honored in that way. So if you turn him a little bit, you offer whatever you're offering to Krishna, then you can offer the prasad to the demigods. And as far as my first statement goes, nothing wrong with worshiping demigods. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went here, there, and everywhere. When he traveled in South India, he went to many different temples. And the topmost devotees in Vrindavan, the gopis, they worship Goddess Katyayani. And then we'd say, well, how were they worshiping? Why were they worshiping? That's the point. If you think that they're separate, then that's a kind of insanity, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that you've lost your intelligence then, because you don't understand the position of the demigods. But the gopis were worshipping goddess Katyayani and saying, please let us have Krishna as our husband. And Rukmini did the same thing. It was in her family. Before her marriage to Krishna, she went to goddess Durga and she was praying, but please clear the obstacles so I can have the perfect husband. So if we ask the demigods, please empower me to become a pure devotee and to worship Krishna purely, there's no obstacle. So it's just a matter of proper alignment. So we say it's an offense if you consider the demigods equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. It's a matter of understanding Siddhanta. And that's well lined up, pardon me, in the Sri Brahma Samhita, where you find that many of the main entities who are powerful in this universe are mentioned in relationship to how they're worshiping Krishna. They're not left out, but they're there within the pantheon to describe how they're all servants of Krishna. Who is next? And then Bali Mardan. Well, we better take Bali Mardan Prabhu next. Prabhu, go ahead.
I have already.
Hare Krishna.
I think as Malini brought this point also regarding the demigods. So, and we are discussing the Gajendra moksha. So every demigods has a designated animals, and fortunately, Mother Ganga has the crocodile. So she rides on a white demigoddess, Ganga, rides on the crocodile, and it says, Prabhupada in one of the purposes, crocodile is certain death. Means there is no escape. Even a lion, she can kill within the water because he's still the king. And in that mood, we can understand that how crocodile still, he was fighting for 10,000 years in the water itself. And I believe I was thinking sometime he could have left, let me get another one. But they are so attached to the prey that they don't leave, either they leave their body or they die, or it's such a fighting spirit. So they don't leave, because if you see the psychology, probably it's maybe after that something can quit, right? But crocodile never quit. And Gajendra has to anyway, it is not his choice. He has to escape himself. But by the intervention of the Lord, and we can see the crocodile when we see the death. But I didn't understand why Mother Ganga has the crocodile as a Bahan, means the designated, because we understand Gajanan, which is Lord Ganesh, as you mentioned, he has Chuha, rat, because it's one of the demon and he wants to control. But I don't know about why crocodile is part of Ganga, because Ganga is the liberation giver. So why she is occupying death personified? So
we'll take it as a research question to see if there's anything specific about why she rides a crocodile. Your other points were salient and helpful, and it reminds us of the great struggle for existence. It's very symbolic, is this story about the crocodile, and very difficult to get away. We had a couple over here, and then who had their hand up on this side? Brajaras Bhavana? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
In the introduction, it said that the Lord is worshipped by the Pancharatra system. I was wondering why that system is important and why we follow that in Kali Yuga.
It's an abbreviation of the Vedic system. Vedic system requires a little more runway. You have to start in a pure environment, and we don't have that nowadays. The Garbhadan Samskara is rare. What to speak of an environment that one's born into where one can develop the qualities necessary through the Gurukul system and so forth to come to develop the kind of qualities needed. Therefore, in the present age, Pancharatra, which means that's 5 nights, this idea of when Brahma was sleeping and the Kaitaba demon came and stole the Vedas, the Vedic teachings from his mind. So then Hayagriva came back. Itam nirtirya grishi deva jashavatarar lokan vibhava yasi hamsa Jagat Pratidpan. What is it? Ved. Okay, so Itam nirtiriga rishi deva jashavatar lokan vibhava yasi hamsi jagat pratidpan. Lokan vibhava yasi. What's the third line, please? Sorry for the gap. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Huh? Can't hear when everyone says it at once. Dharmam Mahapurusha Pasayuganavritam Chanakalo Yadabhavastriyuga Tasatam. And now what are we talking about? Pancharatra. So there's a way in which Hayagriva, one of the Lord's manifestations, comes to Brahma and he re-instructs him in all the Vedic literature, but he does so in a typically helpful way. And he consolidates all the teachings into practical form, the Pancharatric system. Pancharatra, 5 nights. So the Vedas are vast, but he said it all in 5 nights. Kind of reminds me of the 64 items of devotional service that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions to Sanatana Goswami. And then he said, okay, out of these 64, there's 5. Stick to these and you're good. And so similarly, the Lord did that. He gave the Pancharatric system, very practical. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle, and it's a way of directly approaching the Lord, especially through deity worship, and a lifestyle that supports that so that one can become pure and remember the Lord constantly. Minus the Vedic system, which we don't have access to in this age of Kali for obvious reasons, Prayanal, Payushashabhya, etc. So then you have the Pancharatric system. What we have is the Pancharatric system and the Bhagavat Marg together. Pancharatric is very helpful because when you have deity worship, as I was just feeling this morning, glad to be back and to be here in this arena that we've set up for bhajan. That's where the temple is. It's a place where I have bhajan. And I was thinking, what would this room be without the deities? What do you think? It would be very different. But because we have Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan and Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev and so forth, this in the Pancharatric, we're worshiping in the Pancharatric method, then we have something to look forward to and something to put off all the other options here in the material world. Sorry, I'm busy, I have to go see the Lord. If you don't have that Pancharatric, then it's very hard also to keep up the Bhagavat Marg, which is chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have those 2 tracks going together. The Pancharatric system is mostly the parts that we have are passed down by our very own Narada Muni and come down to us in the padatis that we have. And there are lots of details in the Hari Bhakti Vilas about the Pancharatric system. However, Prabhupada wanted that, even that simplified more. You'll find that when he asked in 1975 for Pradyumna Prabhu to take the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and he wanted him to condense it into about 40 pages, which is a lot of condensing. And then from there, he liked to keep it brief, simple. Nonetheless, that's how it comes down to us, and it's absolutely necessary, the Pancharatric system. And if we have that, plus chanting Hare Krishna and the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam with the speech of teaching it and distributing it, then you have a self-contained, perfect process that'll work. It'll work perfectly in this age of Kali Yuga. Okay? All right. Okay, you're next, and then we have, is that Abai? Abai, you're growing too fast. Every time I see you, I was like, who is that? Okay, Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You were talking about the mood of the prayers. I was trying to understand, like, when we are expressing to the Lord in our own, let's say, words and not repeating the prayers of the devotees just exactly as it is, how do we like express emotions also as part of the prayers?
Are you married?
No.
Well, you have parents and friends. You may notice that when you converse with them, it matters the mood that you're in. And you may say something to them like, well, like people say all the time, if you go to Ace Hardware to buy a hammer and you go to the counter, they'll say, "How are you?" in almost a rhetorical way. They're not really expecting a response, right? They're kind of looking at the cash register and, "How are you?" And you say, "Terrible." They go, "Oh, that's nice." Because nobody's really listening. And this is kind of the mode of the material world. Everyone's ignoring the real point, which is that we're conscious beings and we're lost without the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when there's that sense of, I need help, and I'm praying sincerely for help, even when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we talk about the mood in which we're chanting is extremely important. We'll notice it ourselves. Again, the idea of reciprocation. If we really feel helpless, says Queen Kunti, that if you're a kinchana gochara, you have this sense of, I don't have any other support. I'm not supported by my bank balance or by my supposed good health right now and so forth. All I have is you. That is noticeable. We notice it. It's much more fulfilling because it's real. And the Lord notices it too and also will respond in that way. So again, we're tuning ourselves to that mode of being helpless and calling out to the Lord. Akinchana gochara. Okay? Okay, Abhay.
In the introduction, it mentioned that Gajendra was apologizing that he couldn't say the prayers that nicely, but he knew that Krishna could see his condition and understood what he was going through. So why was it necessary for Gajendra to explain himself?
Well, you could ask that about any aspect of devotional service. Like, Krishna knows my heart, therefore why even go through the trouble of doing it? I've noticed myself when writing something, I can think it through quite. It seems like even while I'm waking up from a dream, I think, oh, I have this piece to write, and it comes through my head what I'm going to write. But when I actually sit down to write it, that's a whole different thing. Trying to express oneself to the Lord, articulating what's actually in one's heart is important. It's important for us to purify ourselves. There's a way in which Prahlad Maharaj expresses this, that this is for our own purification. Naitan vihaya kripana. I'm sorry, how does that verse go? Naitan manas. Naivatmana prabhurayam nijalabha purno manam jananda vidusa karuno vranite yad yachano bhagavate viditita manam tachchatmane pratimukasya yata mukashri. There's a sense of, I articulate it for my own purification, because when I actually do something for the Lord, and doing something, you actually express it. Again, if you have a relationship, say, with your parents, and you love your parents, and say they're away somewhere, and they come home and the house is a mess, and they say, well, why is the house a mess? You could have cleaned it up. And they say, well, yeah, I was really thinking about it, and I really love you, and I thought about it a lot. There's a difference between that and when you actually clean the house, and then you don't have to say anything. They walk in and everything's clean. And expressing oneself to the Lord, articulating what's in one's heart, and learning that way of actually bringing it out is something very important for our own purification. It's something that Radhika Raman Prabhu often brings out when he talks about prayer. He mentions that when he was a child, he was learning the Bhagavatam from his parents, And he said the story parts were all very fascinating. But when the prayers would start, he said he would think, oh no, not this again, more prayers. But then he started appreciating that it's the way we come to know what bhakti is, through the prayers of the devotees. When they say what they're feeling. And that's a kind of a manifestation of the feeling that one has, is when you actually say it to somebody. You say it to the Lord and you express it. And we may even be surprised what we say, because the Lord empowers us to speak when we're sincere. That's something Prahlad also says. Tasmada hamvikata viklaka ishvarasya sarvatmana mahigranami yata manisham nicho jaya gunavisarga manu pravishta puyete yena hipuman anuvarnitena. He said that it's for my own purification. I'm saying this out loud to you, my Lord, even though I'm totally unqualified. That's the first part, as you know very well, Abhay, right? Of Prahlad's prayers. He's saying, who am I? I can't say any prayers. I'm not like these demigods. They have perfect pronunciation of Sanskrit and they're really smart. And I'm just a kid. So what am I going to do? And then he concludes, Tasmat, therefore, because it's for my own purification, and therefore, because the Lord accepted Gajendra, he says that in his prayers, that the Lord, even though Gajendra's prayers were imperfect, because he articulated them, the Lord appreciated it so much. Think of parents again and their children. If a child comes up, I'll give you an example. My mother and me had a very close relationship with my mother. I was in whatever grade you're in when you learn to write. Maybe it's first grade. Does anybody know? It's first grade? So I just learned to write. And I'd come home, my mother was out, and I wanted to go see my friend Lance. So I wrote on a piece of paper, I at Lance. And I left it for my mother. That was for her. She saved it until she passed away. I found it in a box. But she was like, well, look what he wrote. He wrote I at Lance. It's his first note. And it was imperfect. The grammar wasn't right. But she was so touched that I took the trouble to write it to her. That was one thing. If you leave somebody a note, they really appreciate it. And what to speak of, if it's from somebody that you love and they try to express themselves but they don't do it perfectly, you might even like it more, because it's not all polished up and therefore somebody's thinking, listen to this. They're just saying from their heart. And so with Gajendra, he's getting real. In fact, when anybody speaks and they start to get vulnerable and they're speaking from their heart, everybody's, wait a minute. They're actually going to say something about themselves that they don't say to other people, or that it maybe is secret or private. That's when everybody listens, and that's what the Lord's listening for too. And so to express it is very important, because we can. And it's one of the main ways that we even know our own capability in bhakti, is to try to express it. For instance, I'm really going on about this, but when we write a Vyasa Puja offering to our spiritual master, Prabhupada said, one of my godbrothers, a senior godbrother told me, Prabhupada said this is a kind of test of the disciple. It's like, where are you at right now? If you write it out and you express it, the spiritual master can read it and say, oh, I can see the level of consciousness of this person. And if they don't do it at all, then it's like, where are they? So it's the same way with prayer. In the same way, this whole point of Gajendra's prayers is so important, that we should say it. And we try to express it in the best way we possibly can, sincerely from our heart. And that's what Gajendra says. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not very good at this, but I'm going to really try. Okay, we have time for a couple more. Yes. You'll get the mic. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your wonderful class. My question was regarding, in the purport says, to enable one to achieve perfection, Krishna gives one the chance to remember him again. And I feel like for me, in retrospect, I understand that, that was a chance for me to remember Krishna. But in the moment itself, my desire for what I think it's right comes out instead. So how do we understand that we're in the moment, that this is the moment that I should be remembering Krishna, but not that this is the moment that I should be asking for what I think is correct?
Asking for what?
What I think is supposed to happen.
It's a matter of practice. We practice devotional service to refine what we ask for. And that comes from purification through our own experience. When we ask for something that is not selfless, then we don't feel satisfied. And we'll notice it. Krishna is very expert at helping us in that way. So the Bhagavatam's mood is, okay, we understand you have other desires. So at least ask Krishna for them, and you're going to get the feedback in such a way that it's going to help you in the long run. At least ask Krishna. Don't go somewhere else. Just stay in there and ask Krishna. And Krishna knows what's in our best interest. Satyam dishati artita artitam rinam naivartato yat punar artito yata soyam vidate bhajatam anichatam ichapi danam nijapada palavam. Says the 5th canto. Forget who says this verse. Maybe look it up. Satyam dishati artito nrinam. Not you. You don't have to. Somebody else. You can listen. And so this verse says that it must be Krishna speaking, but he says, when somebody asks me for something material, he said, I'll fulfill their desire, but I'll do it in such a way that they don't want it anymore. And instead, I'll replace it with my devotional service where they'll actually be satisfied. So we have to be brave enough to know that and to go ahead and ask Krishna, be willing to be purified. So through our experience, we will come to know and feel when we practice devotional service, meaning practice chanting with sincerity and offering prayers with sincerity, we become refined in our desires. And everything requires refinement in this world in order to appreciate it. Sometimes people will look at art or hear music and they don't know what they're listening to, so they can't appreciate it. In devotional service, we're becoming more and more refined to appreciate pure devotional service. That I only want the pure thing. This is a refined taste. And in the beginning, we may not have a refined taste. We say, I want what I want. And Bhagavatam says, okay, ask Krishna. He'll help purify you of your desire and what you're asking for. And when we see for ourselves that I only want Krishna, that's gold. Even if we can't do it, if we have that sense that here's actually what I really want. I know my self-interest is to ask Krishna, I only want your service. I don't want anything else. It was mentioned here, the devotee doesn't even want to go back to Godhead. It doesn't even want to mention that. Krishna, I don't, and it's something Kapila Dev says in the 3rd canto. It's that the devotee doesn't ask for any kind of liberation. Not interested in that. Only interest is in this, I want to serve you, Krishna. How do you want to be served? And the whole discussion, what's my rasa? It's not, what I want. It's Krishna, how would you like me to serve you? And then the more we have that question in our mind and the more we want to come towards that, the more Krishna is very helpful in empowering us to know how to, tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. When we're trying for that, he'll refine our intelligence so much that we'll come to the point of saying, I only want Krishna, nothing else. And then it becomes our life. Was any of that helpful?
That was perfect. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay. Time for maybe, yes.
The verse comes from the prayers from the residents in Jambudweep, and it's the demigods who are saying this.
The demigods are saying this. Satyam dishatyartitam artito nirnam naivartato yat punar artita yuta swayam vidate bhajatam anichatam isha pitanam nijapada pallavam. And the translation, you'll love. The Supreme Personality of God fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives, but he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. We're dealing with a person who's all-loving, he's also all-knowing, and so there's no hiding in this relationship with Krishna. And we want that. We don't want artifice. We don't want something artificial in our lives. We want a real relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we'll also resonate with pure devotees. When we resonate with pure devotees, oh, I see how they are. I would like to be like that also. And then we think, how can I do something for you? How can I be around you more? How can I serve more? This is the life of devotional service. We're coming to this point of complete resonance with service to Krishna. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome back from the spiritual planet.
Thank you, thank you.
Maharaj, I loved your statement about the whole world is a classroom to fine-tune your consciousness. Was there more that you meant besides chanting, devotional services to purify and elevate your consciousness by that statement?
Everything about the world is meant to refine us so that we come to that point of our eternal our highest self-interest, which is to serve Krishna. And we get feedback from the environment. And at first, when we're materially self-centered, we think we are our bodies, it may seem inconvenient, the things that are happening to us. Even hell. Bhagavatam talks about hell and suffering, which is hellish. We suffer because of our attachment to the material body and the material world. It's what causes our suffering, is inordinate attachment to things that aren't real. The material world's not real. It's here today, gone tomorrow. So to be attached to it is silly. And so there's a way in which Krishna wants everyone to be happy and to come back to their real self-interest. And so the whole material world's rigged. The whole thing's rigged. And it's rigged in such a way that whatever you touch here, you think, I'll take that. It looks like a good idea at first, but then you find out that because I'm trying to grab something that's not mine or that's here today, gone tomorrow, this asat trishna, thirst for the material world, this is what's causing my suffering. And then when we get proper information, Maya Mugda Jivana Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan, Jiveri Krishna Koila Krishna Veda Puran. We can get information from Bhagavatam, the difference between reality and illusion. That's helpful, isn't it? It's like, I've seen before animals, and there's a resemblance in human society also, but animals sometimes, they get fascinated by a reflection of themselves. Birds I've seen. When they see a reflection of themselves in a mirror, or likely it's a window, like you hear this noise, you're sitting there writing or reading, and all of a sudden you hear bang, bang. And you go look, and there's a bird, and he sees a bird in the reflection of the window, and he's smashing into it. And it's like, there's no bird in there, you know that? And that's why, they call them bird-brained, because they get enamored of the wrong thing, and you're like, little bird, would you stop hurting yourself? And that's the way Krishna sees us in our situation in the material world, is we're disoriented. He's trying to help us in all aspects of the world. I was saying about hellish conditions and suffering. Someone may say, well, why is there that? It's purifying. When you have intense suffering in the material world, although we all feel compassion for those who are suffering and we don't like to suffer, it purifies us. It's like when you're sick, when you come out of being ill and you realize what a healthy condition feels like, you know the difference between your healthy condition and unhealthy condition. So the whole material world is an opportunity for us to, again, this is like the fourth time I've said it, so I hope it's not sounding redundant, but to tune ourselves, to tune our consciousness. Like you tune a radio, and you're like, no, not there yet. It's way too hard. Oh, I don't want to listen to that. And then you come back, oh, that's it. That's what I want to listen to. And everything in this world is meant to tune us to the point where I only want one thing, service to Krishna. And when we have that, Bhagavatam says, Savai pum samparo dharmo yato bhakti radhoksaje ahaituki apratiyata yayatma suprasid. Then you'll be happy. That's the only way to be happy, because that's who we are. And it's unlimited happiness. It's not the fake happiness of the material world where there's something dangled and you go for it, and then next thing you know, another fake out. You didn't actually experience any happiness. So we have time for last question. No last question. Okay. Sanjana?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So I had this question for a while. So I wanted to understand what causes our downfall from this path. Like, as far as I understand it so far, it's like it's a feedback loop. The more I chant, the more I associate with devotees, the more I listen and hear about Krishna Leela, I'm receiving more of Krishna's grace and mercy, and it makes me want to do more. But what possibly can I do awfully that makes me fall down from this path?
Stop hearing about Krishna. Instead of, it's not some grandiose thing. It's those little moments where you have the opportunity to chant or not chant. It may seem like an inconsequential thing, but that's where it happens. we have this free will where what we're gonna do with our life. So this is why we have association, because it's not given that we can stay on track unless we surround ourselves with the stimuli that help us to keep on the track. Plus, we nail everything down. We make vows, initiation vows. We come in and say, "I'm doing this," and everyone says, "Yay!" And then you say, "When are you going to do it?" Every morning, and you have to keep that up over a lifetime. And if you happen to stray from that, then you have to have support so you can come back to it. Because we're tiny, we're in an ocean, we're getting pummeled basically by the material nature. So we got to put ourselves in a position so that we can stay on it. So when you're in the right state of consciousness, just like when you sign a document before you're not in the right state of consciousness, you say, it says legally, like, I, such and such, am in sound mind. So I'm signing this. I know what I'm doing. Take those opportunities when you have sound mind and you know what you're doing to make the right choice. To keep chanting Hare Krishna. And if you happen to forget, then you should be around devotees who remind you, say, what are you doing? How come you didn't show up? Where were you? Or they come to your house and say, here's some Mahaprasadam, would you get back with the program, please? So we need that. So we should, while we're in sound mind and body, we should sign up for everything that we're capable of signing up for to stay in the program. There's the program, and then there's working the program. That's our part. Because if you don't work the program, as they say, I've heard in recovery programs, that it doesn't work. You have to work it. Thank you very much, everybody. It's heartfelt coming back here to this oasis. For us, like speaking for Nirkul also, that's just everywhere we go is blissful, but this is where our heart is eternally with all of you. And I couldn't be more satisfied and happy. I feel like I'm in a dream where somehow or other I'm winning and everything's going right when I come here, just by seeing all of you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for keeping the transcendental vibration going, for praying, for pure devotional service, and for giving it to so many other people. It's the only thing that'll help the world is if people have some intervention of higher knowledge of themselves, and it's totally available. It's totally possible to change the world by mass distribution of Krishna consciousness. Don't think that the upheavals that go on in the world, and there'll be plenty of them, and there always have, can't be overcome by Krishna consciousness. From this one little place right here, we can change the world. So we should work together as we're doing, but try to increase a lot more, and we should beat Mayapur. And I want a chart on the wall, a poster, where we are and how we're going to do it. Okay? Say yes. Need a verbal yes. Thank you. Now we have our next program, which is the youth. Now we have a grain ceremony, so we're going to reconfigure the room. Since Hansapriya's in here, it's not all set up, but we're going to... What? Well, that's a big deal. So we'll probably need this front area to set up for the grain ceremony. Everyone else can reposition him or herself to face the deities, and then we'll start forthwith. As long as somebody brought their baby, we can do this.
Hare Krishna. So we'll do the grain ceremony, and pretty soon prasadam will start being served outside, and the Gita championships start at 10 to 10:15 this morning.
अभी तो वो चले गए.
His Grace Vaisesika Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Om Swastino Govinda Swastino Chitananto Swastino Vasudeva Vishnu Dharatu Swastino Narayana Naro Vaisesika Padmanabha Purushottam Dharatu Swastino Vishwakshena Vishveshwaraha Swastino Hrishikesho Her Dharatu Swastino Vainatayo Harihi Swastino Ananjana Suto Hanur Bhagavatu Dharatu Swasti Swasti Sumangalai Kesho Mahan Shri Krishna Sakchit Ananda Ganaha Sarveshwaresho Dharatu Karotu Swasti Me
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Chaitanya Prabhu
Hare,
Nityananda Shri Advaita
Hare Ram, Hare
Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome Sparsh, Smriti, and Mira. We're so pleased to have you all here today for the first grain ceremony. And this is one of the ways in which we stay always in Krishna. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarvabhuteshu nama dvesho stinapriyaha. If you can hear me, raise your hand. If you can hear me, say shh. In the Gita, Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu nami dvesho stinapriya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. He says, I'm equal to everyone. He's sustaining all living beings. He's there for everyone in everyone's heart as a super soul. Swagatam suswagatam. And he's very accommodating. But he says, Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. When somebody approaches me with devotion, ye bhajanti, says then Krishna embraces that person. Just as the person wants to embrace Krishna, and there's an embrace between Krishna and the soul. And so this is one of the ways, starting from the very beginning, that this Pancharatric system is so effective, is that even before conception, there's a Garbhanan Samskar, where the parents purify their consciousness before they conceive a child. And then at every opportunity, there's a way in which to remember Krishna and to do worship. So this is kind of worship of Krishna. Although Mira looks very intelligent, and she's looking around and assessing the situation, sizing up everything. You can tell from her very laser-like gaze that she's very cerebral and engaged. So for her, having this ceremony, although she may not remember exactly what the details are or know exactly what's going on, it registers. In the first 7 years of a child's life, especially, the eyes are like little video cameras. They're taking in everything. Whatever goes in the ears, it's forming the foundation of the child's life. And so having these ceremonies at junctures in their life, and one of the junctures is very important, which is around 6 months. How old is she now? 6 months exactly. She gets hungry for solid food and wants some anna, a little grain. Then we have this grain ceremony to remember and to honor that Krishna is the grain, and he's also the digestive power. And so to remember this and also to sanctify this ceremony, we have a system here at ISV to recite the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita together. In the Gita Mahatmya, there are benedictions from chanting the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, and we would like to bestow this benediction on the heart of Meera today at her first grain ceremony, what to speak of everybody in the family, and of course, everyone engaged in this yajna here today. So we can turn our attention towards the screens on either side of the room, and we can recite together the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Mulam Atah Shakam Ashvatam Prahur Avyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastang Veda Saveda Vid Adashordvam Prashritastasya Shaka Guna Pravrida Vishaya Pravala Adashya Mulananasantatani Karmanubhadhini Manusha Loke Narupamasye Hatato Palabhyate Nanto Nachadir Nacha Sampratishta Ashvatamenam Sivaruda Mulam Asanga Shastrena Dridhena Chitva Tatak Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nirvartanti Bhuya Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yata Pravriti Prashrita Purani Nirmana Moha Chitasanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Vanvarva Mukta Sukha Dukha Samgyar Gachantya Mudha Padamavyayam Tat Nattad Basayate Suryo Na Shashanko Na Pavakaha Yadgatva Nanirvartante Taddhama Paramam Mama Mamaivam Sho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manakshastan Prakriti-stani Karshati Shariram Yadavapnoti Yachchapyutkramatishvara Grihit Vaitani Samyati Vayurgandani Vashayad Shotram Chakshu Sparshanam Cha Rasanam Granameva Cha Atishtaya Manaschayam Vishayanupasevate Ukramantam Stitam Vapi Unjanam Vakunanvitam Vimudhananu Pashyanti Gyana Chakshusha Yatanto Yoginaschainam Pashyantyatmanyavastitam Yatanto Pyakritatmano Nainam Pashyantyatetasaha Yadaditya Gatam Tejo Jagadbhasayate Kilam Yachchandramasi Yachchagnau Tattejo Vidimamakam Gam avishya cha bhutani darayam yahamojasa pushnami chausadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashrita pranapana samayukta pachamyanam chaturvidam sarvasya chaham hridisani vishto matak smritir gyanam apohanam cha vedaishta sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta krid veda vedeva chaham dvavimau purusha loke shara eva cha shara sarvani bhutani kutasto shadamuchyate Uttama purushastvanyam paramatmetyudharita yo lokatrayam avishya vibhartavyaya ishvara yasmat sharam atitoham aksharada chotama atosmi loke vede cha pratita purushottama Yo mamevam asambudho janati purushottamam sasarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata iti kuyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanaka etad budva buddhiman syat krita kritasya bharata Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shupanisatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Purushottam Yoga Nama Panchadasho Dhyayaha Hari Om. And now we'll have the group chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra as we, Mira, give you your first grains, which are Mahaprasadam. I even see a tulsi leaf here.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Pretty good. Way to go, Mira.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the next part of our program is to see what Mira's inclination will be. On one side, we have a rollerball pen, which means she'll either be an accountant or a writer of some kind. And then there's some jewelry and a huge stack of cash. And on the right-hand side, we have Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a little bit anecdotal, but there's a way in which we recognize that everyone has a predisposition in their life, in his or her life. And at this stage, we like to look and see which direction will she go. At least it's a protected environment because you are Vaishnav family and you've created a spiritual environment for Mira. Whichever direction she goes will be productive and helpful, and she'll make spiritual advancement. That's one nice thing about this exercise. There's no wrong way to go, but it's fun for us to recognize that it's the impetus of every soul to go a certain direction. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yet karoshi arashnashi, yet juhosi dadasi, yet tapasyasi konteya, tat kurishva mararpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, whatever austerities you perform, do it for me. An observation so far is she's very stoic, dhira, very focused, and nice tilak, and also no remonstration in taking the sweet rice. In fact, she took very determined big bites of the Mahaprasadam. So it's really a pleasure to see you here today, Mira. She's very conscious at 6 months. So we're all praying for you. Please help yourself to whatever you see here One other observation is that she was very fixated on the deities. I noticed her gazing towards the deities quite intently throughout the whole ceremony. So let's take a scientific test now. Usually at 6 months it's hard to crawl. So if she's seated and you support her a little bit as close as possible, she may become fixated on one of the items. And then we'll know for sure which university she's going to go to. Okay, so start saving up.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Either one.
Rama,
it's okay.
Rama, Hare
Bhagavatam,
Hare.
it's all good. Lakshmi here. Pick the books. There you go, Mira. Go for the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Bhagavatam.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. You did good. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mira, you've given very clear indication that you're attracted to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this age of Kali Yuga, Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dharma Ganadi Bisaha Kalunashta Drishamesha Pura Narko Danodita. She's going again. You'll be well served by taking shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we pray that the sound of the Srimad Bhagavatam may attract your mind and heart, may always reside in the sound vibration of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and may you be empowered to spread it all over the world. Gaur Premanande. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmana Shringadev, and all the great acharyas, and all devotees present, if you so desire, please empower our dear Mira that she may become a great Vaishnavi who's friends with all Vaishnavas all over the world, who has compassion for all living beings and is always attached to the holy names of Krishna. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Mira, I declare your first grain ceremony to be a complete success. May you be blessed in every step you take in your life. It's been an honor and a pleasure being here for your grains. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Vanchakalpadrivishya kripa sindhabe vicha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnaviniki jai. One more Maha Mantra, go.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
¿Cuál es el programa? ¿Cuál es el programa? Prasadam now? Announcements. We can't have announcements. Sharirat Vijaja Jodendriya Taheka Jibe Pele Vishaya Sagare
लोभमय सुदुर्मति ताके जेता कठिन संसार कृष्ण बर दयामय गरिवारे जीवा जाय स्वप्रसाद दिलो भाई से अनमृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेम दाको श्री चैतन्य निताय प्रेम दाको श्री चैतन्य निताय महाप्रसाद गोविंदे नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे स्वल्प पुण्यवतं राजन् विश्वासोऽन्य विजायते प्रसादे सर्व दुःखानां प्रसन्न चेततु याशु बुद्धिपर्य विशिष्यते त्वयोपभुक्त सर्कन्दा वासुलङ्कार चर्चितः उच्छिष्ट भोजिनो दासास्तव मायं जयमहि सूक्ष्मं परिश्रितं पापी नितं वारुदेशतः प्राप्तिमात्रेण भोक्तव्यं नात्र कालविचारणा न देशनियमस्तत्र न कालनियमस्ततः प्राप्तमन्नामृतं शिष्टैर्भोक्तव्यं हरिरब्रवीत् Bhagavad Sri Mahaprasad ki. Please come take prasadam.